Hey guys, what's happening? Welcome to another episode of Let There Be Talk. It's Monday, December 30th, 2013. One day away from the mighty New Year's Eve, king of the rookie night. Nothing worse than New Year's Eve, right? Just people, Happy New Year! Ooh, Happy New Year! Fuck. I didn't even like Happy New Year's when I was getting loaded. Back in the day, it's just too loud. But, yeah, I'll be at the Comedy Store New Year's Eve with Mark Maron, and should be fun, actually. I like New Year's Eve. I just got to dodge the drunk people when I'm on my motorcycle. It's like a game of Frogger. Just, whoa, fuck, drunk. That guy was fucking drunk. Be careful out there, guys. Don't be fucking off and crashing into motorcycle people. New Year's Eve. It's going to be New Year's Eve tomorrow. It's going to be the end of the year. I had a fantastic year. I want to thank all the Del Racers out there, first of all. You guys are just great, man. The show started with like 9 listeners, and now it's just fucking exploded. So thanks for spreading the word. Thanks for writing those reviews. Shit, I got some new reviews. I'm up to 78 now. I clown on you guys, and you get down on iTunes and you write some reviews. That's pretty damn cool. So thanks for doing that. Let's see. Somebody wrote a good one. What was it? Let me check it real quick. I might as well, give you guys shout-outs for doing it. That's pretty fucking cool. Let's see here. Seal Beach Mike. My name is Seal Beach Mike, bitches. Says he got turned on to me from Jay Moore, so that's cool. Nothing better than doing someone's podcast and then other people find you from it. Thanks, Jay Moore, for having me on this year. Seal Beach Mike gave me a great review. Randy Callahan 92. You related to Dirty Harry Callahan? Go ahead, make my day. Remember when everybody used to fucking walk around and say that? Go ahead, make my day. I love Dirty Harry, so fucking good. And then who else? Drewski. Hey, what's up, Drewski? 808 Drewski gave me a shout out too. And Death Squad Fanatic. Love you guys. Those are the 4 new reviews this week. So you guys are great. I'm up to 78, trying to get that thing to 100. Just want to give some quick thank yous before we start the show today. Let's see here. Hot Rod in Westwood. I want to give them a shout out. Great people out there. Hot Rod in Westwood, the sneaker shop. McGuire Harley Davidson, fantastic. Los Angeles Harley Davidson. Earthquaker Devices, Self Edge, and my boy Kia. All the clubs I worked at this year, thank you. Most of all, Comedy Store, Punchline, Laugh Factory, and the Improv, Ice House, West Side Comedy Theater. You guys are great. Bronston Jones and the Venice Underground, fantastic year there. Death Squad, love you guys. Big shout out to the Death Squad. Been heavy Del Raisers out there, Death Squad. Ian Edwards, of course, my mentor, and Mr. Mark Maron, fantastic. It all started about a year ago. Mark had me on his podcast, and shit took off. I love you, Mark. You're the best. Bill Burr, completely worship the man, Bill Burr. Great friend, best comedian I know. Wow. Andrew Themilis, good friend of mine. Love you, Andrew. Don't forget Bill Burr at the Will Turn New Year's Eve. If you don't come see me, go see Bill and Andrew at the Will Turn New Year's Eve. Keep going here. Kevin Christie, Neil Brennan, love you guys. All Things Comedy. That's the All Things Comedy Network. That's the network I'm on, Al Magical and Bill Burr's network. Love it. Thank you, Al, and All Things Comedy. Pete Holmes. Love you, dude. Thanks for having me on. You made it weird this year. I love you, Pete. You still got to do mine. You owe me. Jay Moore, once again, thank you. Eric Griffin, Workaholics Montez, my good friend. Did a lot of shows with him this year. I love Eric Griffin. Cedric Bixler, what a great friendship that turned out to be from the podcast. And also Largo. The Largo show was fantastic this year with Cedric hosting. And the mighty Don Barris, who is my guest today. And Don Barris, this is the third time. He's been on the most. I love Don Barris. He has the Don Barris Kennedy Overdrive Band. Perform every night at the Comedy Store. He does audience warm-up for Jimmy Kimmel. He also has the fantastic cult underground film Windy City Heat. He's just a great guy. He knows his music. He's a music freak like me and like a lot of you Del Raisers. We get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame today. I'm not going to give away what we talk about, so sit back and listen to it. Before I get into the episode, one last thing. A lot of people asked me questions this year. What was some of my favorite stuff? I love Metallica playing Antarctica. That was badass. I didn't go, but I watched it. I wish I was there. So fucking good, Metallica. I don't care what anybody says. Those guys rule. Breaking Bad, best show ever. Just don't need to talk about anything else. That's the best show ever. Sons of Anarchy was great this year. Charlie Hunnam, fucking guy's fantastic. Give him the Emmy. Films. I didn't get to see a lot of films. 9,423 films came out this year. I love films more than anything, but I've been working so crazy and I don't have money to go. And I only like to see movies in the theater. I'm a weirdo, so if I don't see it, it's gone. But some great films this year. Of course, 20 Feet from Stardom. Hey guys, what's happening? Welcome to another episode of Let There Be Talk. It's Monday, December 30th, 2013. One day away from the mighty New Year's Eve, king of the rookie night. Nothing worse than New Year's Eve, right? Just people, Happy New Year! Ooh, Happy New Year! Fuck. I didn't even like Happy New Year's when I was getting loaded. Back in the day, it's just too loud. But, yeah, I'll be at the Comedy Store New Year's Eve with Mark Maron, and should be fun, actually. I like New Year's Eve. I just got to dodge the drunk people when I'm on my motorcycle. It's like a game of Frogger. Just, whoa, fuck, drunk. That guy was fucking drunk. Be careful out there, guys. Don't be fucking off and crashing into motorcycle people. New Year's Eve. It's going to be New Year's Eve tomorrow. It's going to be the end of the year. I had a fantastic year. I want to thank all the Del Racers out there, first of all. You guys are just great, man. The show started with like 9 listeners, and now it's just fucking exploded. So thanks for spreading the word. Thanks for writing those reviews. Shit, I got some new reviews. I'm up to 78 now. I clown on you guys, and you get down on iTunes and you write some reviews. That's pretty damn cool. So thanks for doing that. Let's see. Somebody wrote a good one. What was it? Let me check it real quick. I might as well, give you guys shout-outs for doing it. That's pretty fucking cool. Let's see here. Seal Beach Mike. My name is Seal Beach Mike, bitches. Says he got turned on to me from Jay Moore, so that's cool. Nothing better than doing someone's podcast and then other people find you from it. Thanks, Jay Moore, for having me on this year. Seal Beach Mike gave me a great review. Randy Callahan 92. You related to Dirty Harry Callahan? Go ahead, make my day. Remember when everybody used to fucking walk around and say that? Go ahead, make my day. I love Dirty Harry. So fucking good. And then who else? Drewski. Hey, what's up, Drewski? 808 Drewski gave me a shout out too. And Death Squad Fanatic. Love you guys. Those are the 4 new reviews this week. So you guys are great. Guest to have on. Well, for our end of the year, we talk.
Of all the people you've had on, I would be the best guest you could have had.
Well, we get into great music conversations, so it's great for an end of the year. And, you've been on the most. This is your 3rd time on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is crazy.
I introduced Mary Jane. She's here, too.
Yeah, hi, Mary Jane.
She may say hello.
Hello. Yep, there's Mary Jane right there. Foxy girl on the couch. Don brings foxy girls to the podcast. How are you, bud?
I'm doing all right. Just a lot of stuff going on and just trying to make it all happen. It's nonstop work. Nonstop.
Yeah, right.
So.
Now, since I had you on last, you do the audience warm-up for Jimmy Kimmel, and you had me down to see Kings of Leon.
Oh, really?
Which was a fantastic day. First of all, I snuck into the good parking because I was on the cop Harley, remember?
Yeah.
I just pulled behind the stage and then watched you do your crowd warm-up, audience warm-up, which I've never
seen it before.
No.
That's right. Okay.
Which was super fun, man. That was great. Watch you do that.
It's nice. There's a lot of excitement about it, but it's a way to pay my bills more than anything, and that's really cool. I mean, the band part is the best part because I can go on stage and I get to welcome each band. I mean, right there, that fist right there.
Yeah, right?
Paul McCartney punched it as I introduced him on Hollywood Boulevard. So that's kind of cool. I mean, little things like that. And I mean, I was standing at the end of the show because I went out and I took pictures in front, and at the end of the show I stood off to the side, and I must have been 15 feet away from him during his last song, and I watched his hands move playing Hey Jude on the piano.
Yeah.
And I watched the crowd, and I thought, this is maybe the greatest instant in my life.
Yeah, that's got to be huge for you because you're the biggest Beatles fan.
I love the Beatles, and it's just like, my God. I mean, no matter what, Paul McCartney is such a class act in every way. It's even on the show, Jimmy said, he thanked him, and during his thanks to him, he mentioned you would tell stories like it was the first time, even though you've probably told those stories a million times.
Yep.
But I really got the vibe that Paul McCartney understands what and who he is.
Yeah.
And then I tried to think about this, and maybe you can help me, or maybe even Mary Jane. I was trying to think, at one point, Muhammad Ali might have been the most popular human being on the planet.
Yeah, like early 70s.
Right. I might say that right now, Paul McCartney.
Right.
Am I crazy with that? Can you think of anybody else?
Well, you're probably pretty much up there. It's like Obama and then him probably as far as like who is like huge figures in America, right?
Well, not in America. I'm talking in the world.
Okay.
I'm talking in the world because there are people that know nothing about politics, but they understand music. Obviously, there's people that know politics and not music, but I would say that there are people all over the world that know who the Beatles are.
Absolutely. Which is an interesting thing because 2 days ago, not 2 days, but Monday, the 49ers played the last show in Candlestick.
They played the last game in Candlestick.
The last game. And that's where the Beatles played the last show
right.
in 66.
66.
Which is amazing to think of a band who... Like, if you think about music these days, you have to tour because you don't make any money on the records. This is a band that basically said, we can't hear ourselves play. The crowd's so loud and the gear is too shitty. We're not playing anymore. You know
what's interesting and probably doesn't get the credit he deserves, but I think that truly, when you talk about the Beatles, especially after they stopped touring, the George Martin input to what the Beatles were.
Yep.
And it's funny. I don't know if it was the documentary, the anthology documentary about the Beatles. I don't remember where I heard this. Maybe, actually it was the thing about the kind of a bootleg DVD of these 4 bootleg DVDs of the writing team of Lennon and McCartney.
Yeah.
And one of the things they mentioned, and if you look at the career, Paul McCartney was not making it as a solo artist. He wasn't selling. He had a couple hit songs.
In Wings, you mean?
And well, even when he was just Paul McCartney, Wings.
Yeah, he had that one with like Say.
But that was later. I'm talking right when they broke up. At first, it was, I believe, George Harrison, who All Things Must Pass, had a huge album. And and John Lennon, even though in hindsight had unbelievable albums out of the box, they weren't hits. They weren't having hit songs.
Yeah.
But Paul McCartney, who was a hit songwriter more, I don't think was doing much. And then what he did, they asked him to do the theme song to I didn't screw that up.
No.
They asked him to do the theme song to the James Bond movie.
Oh, yeah,
Live
that's
and
great.
Let Die.
Yeah. What a great track, right?
And where did he turn to? He went to George Martin to help him produce that and brought in the orchestra and all that. And that is a damn great song. Your very own Guns N' Roses did a great cover of it.
Live and Let Die.
But he went to George Martin for that.
That wasn't an original Guns N' Roses song?
No,
man. You are adorable. You are just adorable.
You bring the smart ones over, huh, Don?
I remember when you and Perry got confused that somebody else did the Moulin Rouge hit.
Okay, all right. See, when you open a door, now you have to explain what all that is about. Because what you have done, she thought the Moulin Rouge version of your song was the original hit.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, that was Elton John. But you're adorable. That's all that matters.
Well, but I can't trust Perry and yourself to say
and Perry is a guy that is in the movie Windy City Heat with me. Some of these people don't know who Perry is.
Well, that's not my fault.
Okay, that's a good point.
No, I got something for you, Don.
What's that?
A couple things that are amazing about Paul McCartney. This is why I think he's a class act. There's a lot of guys that turn into dicks over their old their old band if they're not in that band anymore, or they don't want to play their hits, or they I'm not a Beatle anymore, that was a long time ago, leave me alone, that kind of shit. And I really think that's why he's such a class act. He's always like, I'm so happy I was a Beatle. That's an amazing thing. You'll never see that again. That's lightning in a bottle. No one's going to buy our records, which is amazing that we're talking about him, because today is 50 years ago today. I Want to Hold Your Hand was released in America.
Really?
Today. Wow. Which is crazy, right? And I was reading about it as I read this little info. They were saying Beatles were bombing in America at first. They released some songs.
Tell them the date just so they know that.
The date is, today, the date?
December
27th. So it was yesterday, the 26th.
The 26th.
Yeah, December 26th.
They didn't start out that strong, but they were big all over the world. But by the time when they came and they were on the Ed Sullivan Show, that was one of the things. They said they want to have a number one song before they got here. Well, when they were on their way, that went number one.
Yeah, 2 million. And that's back when they had to press those 45s. 2 million pieces of vinyl, 2.5 or something, which is incredible.
I don't mean to interrupt you guys talking, but it seems like somebody just did the Mary Jane's This Day in History for me. I wasn't informed.
Okay, she has a segment on her show. Again, they don't know what you're talking about.
It's the Ding Dong Show.
Right, on the Ding Dong Show, Mary Jane has a segment called This Day in History. So, yes, they kind of did that. Yes, they did.
And just to give a hint, not like this is really relevant, but this Monday, you guys happen to be talking about the main topic of my This Day in History.
I think the Beatles stuff, but...
The Beatles.
Yeah, so that was... but you're right, they weren't that big, but, they did become big, that's for sure. You know what? And what's amazing about that, 2 careers. They had the boy band career, and when they gave up that, they went into the most artistic band there was.
Yeah.
And I think George Martin had a big part of that. I think that they were interested in doing things because now all they had to do, think about this. From the time that they started, they were playing these shows every day in Germany, and they were working or on the road constantly.
Oh yeah, it's like comedian style, just going on every night nonstop, like we do at the store.
Now they they had nothing.
Yeah.
They had nothing to do, so they just started experimenting. And George Martin, because of his, he worked with classical music people and that, so they learned new instruments and they learned that kind of stuff. Even if they didn't play it, they brought in people that could, and they added elements to their song unlike anything before. So I just believe that George Martin was a real big part of the Beatles'
he's the
success.
fifth member for
Yes,
sure.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the thing is, that's why these boy bands just fizzle out and turn into garbage cans now, because they don't ever sit down and learn an instrument. All they want to do is be famous, They just like, make me famous. They go, here, sing these songs and get this haircut and go out there and get a six-pack, work out. Yeah. And they don't care about anything. And then all of a sudden, there's like, they're 35.
Well, I don't say that anything. These guys, like the One Directions and all these bands, they've made enough money for the rest of their lives.
You think so? And then you see these fucking guys, like what, those guys, what was Timberlake's band?
98 Degrees.
Was that them?
I think so.
So they do the reunion at the MTV Awards, and you're looking at the other guys going, oh, yeah, those dudes. And they're like, I'm living in Sherman Oaks now. We need this.
Yeah, but what do they need? They're not living the lifestyle of multi-millionaires. But if you own a house in Los Angeles and in a nice neighborhood in the Valley, you're not doing that poorly.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But I mean, in their minds, what I mean?
But the expectations of... They set themselves up for life. They're going to be living okay for the life unless they really blew it. But I think that they were pretty protected. But it's an interesting thing. Someone one time said to me, who are the greatest actors? Are these rappers. Yeah. And it seems that I think that's the reason they make the transition from rapping to acting, because they're playing a character. They're playing a thug.
Yeah.
When most of those guys aren't, but they play the thug and they live that lifestyle, even though they don't live that lifestyle. That's the reason a lot of these guys go from rap and they become actors.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Oh, yeah. I have noticed that. I love, there's a movie called... Shit, I forget.
There's a movie called Shit.
Yeah, it's called Shit. You got to see this movie, Don. It's just two dudes just shitting.
It's a very creative title, I'll tell you that.
It's a movie with Kevin Bacon, and it's let's see what it's called here.
You know what? I just want to see this.
Yep.
For those that don't know, Dean Del Rey is going through his CD collection, and he's selling a lot of stuff on eBay.
Yeah.
And I made one purchase, may make more before the day is over.
Yeah, he's scored.
But what is this? You gave to me the deluxe version. Is there anybody out there?
Pink Floyd.
The Pink Floyd, The Wall. And this is
1980.
1980-81.
Yep. And it's the live Wall when they played it. They only did it like, what did we figure out?
So I got not just the CD, but the book and the CD portion.
Yeah.
$35.
Mint condition.
Yeah. So let me know, people, if I got a deal or not.
Oh, I'll show you.
No. I believe you. I believe you. But I'm just asking the people out there.
Yeah. Well, they're new. They're 90. And then they seem to sell years from 25 to 55. But since my shit's always mint,
right,
I always go, well, 35 then. That's
35
fair.
Was a fair price.
Yep.
Even though you tried to charge me 50 and then went to 35.
Well, no, at first I was looking at it like 89. Then I went on eBay and I looked and was like, well, they're around here. All right, so I was at Kimmel. We were talking about that and saw Kings of Leon, which is an interesting thing I wanted to bring up about people and bands these days. As I was watching Kings of Leon, who I've been a fan of since the first time I saw him at the Viper Room play with they had an EP out. They had the song Wicker Chair. They had Molly Chambers. I loved them since the first day I saw them. And it's amazing. They haven't really had a shitty record in my eyes. And people these days seem to just kind of burn out on bands. You notice that? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, like there's Kings of Leon playing, and then I talk to people and I go, man, I just saw Kings of Leon at Jimmy Kimmel. And they're like, oh, yeah, cool. And I'm like, you like them, right? Oh, I love them. Well, they got a new record out. You get it? No. They just kind of, people fizzle on bands. And there they were rocking like fucking amazing. And I was reading in Rolling Stone how they're saying, we're the underdogs again. And I'm like, why? Because they had a huge record that sold 5 million. Right. And then their last one sold 1 million. It's like, Nobody's selling any records.
Right. You know,
That's great.
When you say that, I was just thinking of this. You know, there's eras that different things beyond just the music itself go into. Like, for instance, I think we're out of kind of the music video age. I don't think you have to be this,
Nope.
you know, the band that all the teenage girls like. I don't think, and Kings of Leon, they're just average Joes. But I'm wondering what makes their band not smash to another level. Because you're right, they are talented. And they've written some great songs, and they have soul. They have a lot of heart.
Yep.
But
well, they had the huge record, and people were like, "This is going to be the new U2."
Right.
They toured with U2. People were like, "They're going to take over U2." But I think they were really heavy in the hipster world, and hipsters go, "See you later."
Yeah.
Like the Strokes, yes, and Kings of Leon all came out at the same time. I love them all still right now.
You know,
and people
funny.
are like, "See ya."
All those bands I got to see when they first came out.
Me too.
On Kimmel.
And they were so great, right?
The Yeahs. That girl was like, I kind of went up to her before the show.
Karen O.
And just very soft-spoken, it seemed. But then she was jumping around. I thought, whoa.
Yeah.
She really gets into the character.
She's
doesn't
my
she?
favorite, one of my top 5 favorite performers in the last
Really?
20 years.
What do
She's
you-
wild, man.
What do you think about her voice? Do you think
I
it's
love
good
it.
or great? What if because she would be not the most attractive woman. Let's say she was just like model great looking.
No, but I think she's super hot. That's my type of chick.
Really?
You know, yeah. When I see her, I go, this girl is gorgeous. And she's got mad talent. She did the soundtrack for Spike Jones. What's that? The cartoon with the like.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, she did the soundtrack for that.
Yeah.
And she's super talented. She's one of the most authentic live performers I've seen in a long time. When I see her, I think danger.
Do you think if she was like model beauty,
I would not like her as much.
But do you think she would be 10 times more popular?
I don't know, because then it wouldn't feel authentic for the hipsters. That's what we're like launched them, I think, was.
Yeah, but you know what? It might have been a completely different career. Is what I'm saying.
You're right.
She might have been pushed by people. Like, who's that? Lana Del Rey.
Oh yeah,
What's her name?
Lana Del Rey.
Lana Del Rey.
Terrible.
Have you seen her?
Terrible.
She's very young.
Yep.
She's very pretty.
Can't sing.
She can't sing.
Nope.
Really?
No, I saw her on Saturday Night Live. Remember, just
Right. And I saw her. I mean, I saw her and I just like, wow, this is the next thing. But they sure are pushing her, aren't they?
They are. Well, here's the thing, man. It's pretty easy to get kind of a hot girl, and you get some hits behind them, and you get this machine rolling.
Get the machine.
And they see Katy Perry's numbers, and they go, if we can just get a quarter of Katy Perry's numbers, we're going to be making great money.
Do you think Katy Perry's talented?
I'm not into Katy Perry.
But do you think she's talented?
I think she can play guitar and sing, but I think that she's a machine.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
she's a machine. But I'm wondering.
I
if
do think she's
the
talented.
parts of the machine are good. Would she be talented if she didn't look that way? Would she still be a good singer?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, because there's girls out there that aren't very hot.
Who's that country singer that has all the pop hits?
Oh well, that girl's the hottest ever. That's Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that girl.
Is she talented?
Oh hell yeah. See, I think the country people, they learn instruments early on.
Right.
And they start getting into that, they have idols that wrote their songs and shit. And they're like, God, I want to write songs. And even if they have help or whatever, they're playing the instruments.
But I just wonder this. You see, country is always, and this is my feeling, and, there's been times that country western or country music has crossed over and become pop hits. But it usually seems that it's like a pop singer on their way down
Yeah.
will become a country singer.
Yeah, well, dudes are doing that now too. Like they see the formula that Kid Rock turned country.
Right.
And now you got the singer from Stained, Aaron Lewis. All of a sudden he's going on press going, country was always my music.
Right.
I just did the other thing. Or when you're like, come on, man. And then you see even Jovi went country back in the day when he did like that
Well, even Wanted Dead or Alive.
Yep,
is like
that's
really,
country. But
the thing he did from the movie.
Yeah, that one's Blaze of Glory. Shot down.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not true country.
No.
It's kind of like he's not true heavy metal rock.
That's right.
He's almost there on everything.
Well, country's rock, too. But they just took all the 80s elements of fire and big stages and leather.
It's funny. The country thing got so crazy. Do you remember when Bobby Brown was did a reality show on country and was putting out a country album?
Oh, man.
Crazy.
I remember Bobby Brown had that reality show with his wife, and she was taking a shit and said, "Come out and help me pull it out." I'll never forget that.
Really?
That was the weirdest reality moment ever. She was like, "Get in here. Pull this out. It's hard." I guess they were doing a lot of blow or something.
Those two?
Yeah, those two. All right. I read something today that blew my mind.
Okay, I'm going to deny it.
What they're doing is record companies and bands are hiring these companies to follow BitTorrent to find out where their music's being stolen the most.
Oh, interesting.
In what countries, what areas. And Iron Maiden has done something that's blown my mind.
What's that?
They found out that Brazil and South America were the biggest Iron Maiden stealers. So they went over there. They said, well, if we can't sell them records, let's sell them concert tickets. So they went over there last month, and they did $3.5 million in concert tickets, which is a pretty damn, pretty interesting idea. Find out who steals your stuff and go play for them and get T-shirt money and concert money.
Right. Well, that's smart because there's no way they're going to stop the illegal music thing.
That's right.
Wow, that is smart.
Now, how about Iron Maiden, man? This band's been around forever, and they're bigger than ever still right now. That's a genius idea. I read that. I couldn't believe it. I was like, how great is that?
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. And I'll be honest with you. I've never been a big Iron Maiden fan.
Yeah, I don't picture you as a Maiden guy.
No.
And
I'll tell you who. You know who kind of disappointed me too recently? I saw Megadeth.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that now. For you guys that are listening, Don Barris does audience warm up every night for Jimmy Kimmel, and in the last 5 years, they've had some of the best bands on the planet. And Don gets to stand on stage, welcome them on, and then he takes pictures of them and everything. Yeah. So this is a great gig if you're into music, because Jimmy doesn't get shit music.
No, he doesn't. And I think that it's a wonderful show for musicians. And a lot of musicians who have been on the show have always come up and said, this is the best show to come on.
Yeah.
We like this. Because it's an outdoor stage. It looks like a concert.
It does look like a concert.
It's something that they're a little more familiar with, and they can invite their fans and they can pack it, with people that are already huge fans of theirs. It's always nice to go out there and there's 3,000 people that are out in the parking lot.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Now Megadeth, let's talk a little bit about that. Now, they played Christmas shit?
No, not really. I just, again, I didn't know if it was the fact that I just felt that I guess I've never really liked this band. I think the only thing interesting to me, and I know that Dave is a great guitar player, but I think the most interesting part is that he was kicked out of Metallica.
Right.
And what was that movie, the Metallica movie?
Some Kind of Monster.
Yeah, where they confronted him.
Yeah, it's great, right?
It's just like, I want to do a parody about that.
Yeah.
And I want to do it with the Barris Brody Overdrive.
Yeah, that'd be
where
great.
Where Brody plays the Dave.
And he got kicked out. Yeah. And now Earl's in the band.
Exactly. So I wanted to kind of, that was what that was based upon. But I just was like kind of disappointed. I don't know, right. They had their fans. But boy, I was not impressed.
Well, with me, and I talk about it all the time, and people always email me later or tweet, like, what? To me, Megadeth is one record, and that record is a masterpiece. Peace sells, but who's buying?
Right.
It's a must-own record if you're into metal and you love Metallica. This record is a smoking thing. Everything after, he turns into cartoon singer. He's like, hello, you. look at me. You know, it's just kind of like.
They were kind of like Beavis and Butthead were into those guys.
Yeah, yeah, remember? Yeah.
Oh, look at fur.
Yeah, right. Beavis and Butthead were into them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, now who do you think was the best this year on Kimmel besides McCartney, of course, going to be a choice, but who else rocked you?
Wow.
Because I was there for Kings of Leon, and I loved that stage. How was White Zombie or Rob Zombie?
Rob Zombie, I'll tell you why I love Rob Zombie.
Okay.
I think Rob Zombie, he has got the perfect look. He's got the perfect look.
He's Road Warrior.
He is so cool, man. He is so cool. I think he's got enough songs that are just great, great songs. And I love the fact that he covers a lot of music.
Yeah.
I think that is so, you know, and a lot of people, oh, he's selling out by doing this song. I think that I'm Your Boogeyman is just a great cover of a song. And so I thought he was good. I was actually, they open with We're an American Band.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And that is I'm wondering if that's on his new album. Do you know?
I'll look it up.
Look that up because I'd love to get a copy of that. Because, you know, first of all, once again, I go back to my roots of Michigan, and that song is a Grand Funk song from Flint, Michigan. So I just have always loved that song. And I just, you know, I remember Kid Rock. You know what? I'll tell you this. Have you ever seen a Kid Rock concert?
You know, I saw Kid Rock, which is funny because I'm not a Kid Rock fan, but then I saw him at Stagecoach about 4 years ago, and the guy just fucking murdered.
He really does.
He murdered. Now, the thing is with me is you really have to sit back, and I've learned this in the last couple of years, and just go, all right, well, these guys are entertainers. You know, that's what they're doing. They're not like in it for the art, but they got something.
I don't think I think he's, you know, I wouldn't say he's not in it for the art. I see what you're saying. I think, like, you know, his biggest hit is like the ripoff of Leonard Skinner.
Yeah,
All Summer Long thing. And I understand that, but I'm just saying he is a showman and he puts on a great show. And even in his shows, he goes out there and he does, like, again, going to my Michigan roots, he really supports Michigan music, and he always like does a little tribute to like Bob Seger and all these guys that are from Michigan. And
I get that, but it's a little bit like but he grabbed that later on. Like, he's this rapper guy, right? He's got.
I think he started out as a rapper,
right? That's what I'm saying.
And then he kind of went to the rock rap. Now he's in country.
Yeah, right. I mean, he's a smart man. I'm not fucking casting him off. He's a smart guy, and he goes, I can just do a little more of this, and all of a sudden I can get a little more of this crowd because this crowd's long gone. The rap crowd.
Yeah.
When I was there was no rap crowd there. It was a country festival, Stagecoach.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he was the headliner, and he came out like, are you ready for American motherfucking made? And I was like, man, all right, he's just grabbing some Ted Nugent raps here. He's smart, and then he just gets into it, you know? Well, but he had the song I loved he did was the one with Sheryl Crow, Picture.
Right.
That was a fucking great song.
It might be his biggest hit, too.
Man, it was such a good song. So I don't knock him because it's hard to write a song. Right. You know, it's hard to write a song, and it's hard to write a massive monster hit because you see that. And at the time when I saw that, I was like, these guys would be a great version of the new Stars Born. Back when that was out, I had this idea of like, okay,
shit, really?
You have him as the old burned out like country guy. And then he meets Sheryl Crow, who's like a pop chick, and they write this tune together.
She may be older than he is.
I know, but that it didn't need to be like younger. It just needed to be someone that was super talented.
But it wasn't in every story. It's the young upstart that this old battered person brings on.
But what I wanted it to be about, a new spin on it was, here's an older woman who has mad talent that never made it. And people think, oh, you're past this is a young woman's game. And then, and then he gets her going and she becomes a huge star.
Wow. I like the idea of doing a new Star is Born.
Right?
But I got to tell you, I don't know if I like Kid Rock and Sheryl Crow.
No, that was back when the song was out. Now I heard Beyonce and those guys own the rights, and they're going to do one.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah, that's the word, yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I wonder what she'll play.
Well, she's going to play the star, right?
The up-and-coming star?
Yeah. I mean, she doesn't look old.
No, she absolutely doesn't.
That's what I'm saying.
Is she? Early 30s?
And then they got someone that's older that'll play They should get Quincy Jones to play the guy. That'd be great, right?
You know what? Yeah, somebody was mentioning Quincy Jones a little bit. David Arquette. Have you seen him at the club lately?
Yeah, David Arquette. He directed a pilot I was in a couple years ago.
Really?
A friend of mine, yep.
He mentioned...
He likes to party.
Yeah. Maybe he does a little too much.
Well, you know what? I love guys like that. Hollywood needs guys like David Arquette, and people, they look down or whatever. But
I don't look down on him. I think he's a nice dude.
No, but I'm saying they look down on people that party. But man, we're in Hollywood. You're not supposed to go home at night. Right. If you're gonna do that, you live in Montana. All right. This is a fucking town where you got money, it's wild, and let's party and let's play. You know what I mean? It's Vegas, but way better without the cheese.
Well, anyway, he had been mentioning meeting Quincy Jones. And when you think about guys who have touched things, I mean, he was like the producer that worked with Sinatra and the Count Basie Orchestra and Fly Me to the Moon. I mean, Michael Jackson. I mean, he is... And you hear his like stuff when he produces those solo... Back on the Block. Do you like that or no?
Yeah.
It is so great.
That guy's got the gold touch. Quincy Jones talks, you listen. You know what I mean?
And it's funny because there's been a lot of... Stern used to play a lot of this stuff when he may have celebrated a little bit too much before he would talk.
Oh, yeah.
And he just rambles on. But boy, you're right. A piece of music. When you... I mean, it wasn't like... Quincy Jones was coming on. Oh, yeah, he was an engineer on some small song.
No.
I mean, with Michael Jackson, Thriller. Frank Sinatra, Fly Me to the Moon.
Yeah.
Huge with Count Basie Orchestra. I mean, he just... he worked with the big people in their prime.
That guy's a king,
Yeah.
He's like... he's like a Rick Rubin where people come in and they go, well, that's Rick Rubin, and he's going to get something out of him. A lot of people don't think Rick Rubin does much, but all the records he does, are incredible.
Yeah.
And even if he's not a musician or he doesn't know how to work dials or something, he can pull out something out of you.
What he did with Johnny Cash was a great tribute to the end.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. And I mean, he got him doing. Even I think didn't he work with Glenn Campbell too?
Yeah,
recently?
He did the. What's the other guy?
See if he worked with Glenn Campbell. I think his last album.
Yeah, let's check that out.
Rick Rubin did something with Glenn Campbell.
He did.
Where you going, Mary Jane?
What was that called? Here we go. Wikipedia, little Rick.
Please don't announce on the podcast I'm going to the ladies' room.
Are you going to the bathroom?
Sorry, beauty girl.
All right. Hey, check out Rick Rubin's track record.
Oh, you know what? Who he's working with now? He was working with ZZ Top on their last album.
Yeah. That's a great record. Mark Maron played it for me, and I was surprised how much I liked it.
Okay, the beard hair there.
Beastie Boys, Cool J, Public Enemy, Run DMC, Petty, Sabbath, the new Sabbath, of course, that people love, like Jim Norton loves it. Slipknot, Slayer. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Jay-Z, Danzig, Dixie Chicks. He did that huge Dixie Chicks record that I like. Metallica, AC/DC, Aerosmith, Weezer, Linkin Park, The Cult, Neil Diamond. That's a record he did. I knew that one. Mick Jagger, he did that a long time ago that didn't come out. Or one did, but he did like a weird blues record with Mick Jagger. That was cool. System of the Down, Rage Against the Machine, Audio Slave, Sheryl Crow, ZZ Top, Adele, Lana Del Rey, Kanye West. He just worked on that new Kanye West. And Eminem, of course, the new Eminem. So the guy is just... And then Johnny Cash. No Glenn Campbell that I see, but this might not be updated.
You know what? Do this. Go to Glenn Campbell on Wikipedia and look at his last album.
Okay.
And then try to go through there. I don't know why I'm even obsessed with this, but he was another guy on the show. And Glenn Campbell, he's going through that
Parkinson's? What's he got?
I don't know what it's Parkinson's, but he's slow. He's on a death watch.
Right.
And, he put out that last album, and it's all about, saying goodbye. And I mean, it's pretty intense. And I think, I don't know if it's Rick Rubin. Maybe it isn't. Maybe I'm full of shit.
No, hold on here. I got something here. Glenn Campbell's Gift of Fence. New album, See You There. Rick Rubin worked on it.
What year is this?
He's 2000... 11?
Maybe.
Yeah, let's see here. Sorry, listeners, but, we're getting this shit right.
You don't want to get it wrong.
Yeah, because then people go, you're wrong, motherfucker.
I would hope they wouldn't use that kind of language when referring to us.
Oh, yeah.
We're just trying to bring joy.
Yeah, we're just trying.
Let me ask you this. You were talking about Megadeth and not only one album you like. Has there been, in your opinion... Now, I'm not the biggest heavy metal fan ever.
Yep.
But I can appreciate it.
Right. A lot of my listeners love metal.
That's nothing.
Shout out to the Del Razors.
Del Razors.
That's the fans.
Really?
Yeah.
The Del Razors.
Pretty good, right?
Oh, that's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. I didn't come up with it.
Who did?
Here's what happened. I was doing Cobb's.
Del Razors.
I was doing Cobb's in San Fran, and D'Elia was headlining. And some fans were there that called themselves Delebers, like beavers, Delebers. So he said, where's my Delebers out there, something as a joke. And someone stood up and went, I'm a Del Razor. And then the host was like, that's fucking great.
That is great.
And then the guy tweeted it, Del Razors are in the house. And then it kind of caught on, which is cool. I like it. Then some girls say they're the Del's Angels.
Really?
The female ones, yeah. Del's Angels. I got about 3 females that listen to me.
Bull Dykes, all of them.
Oh, Bull Dykes.
So the question was, has AC/DC ever put out a bad album in your eyes?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Which one?
Fly on the Wall is one of the worst records ever by AC/DC. It's embarrassing. The Fly on the Wall record is where, for some reason, they do the first one with Brian Johnson, which is Back in Black. They do the second one with him, which is For Those About to Rock. They do the third one, Flick of the Switch. I love all 3 of these records. They're incredible. And even at hindsight, back in the day, people go, Flick of the Switch ain't that good. But you listen to it now, it's any band's best record. Right. And I love it. Then they put out this piece of shit called Fly on the Wall. And they decided to
what was that? Was that a concept album?
No, it was they had a theme, like the fly was on all the videos, like bzzz, this cartoon fly, and it'd be on the videos, it was on their shirts. I think it was some kind of marketing bullshit.
But it had nothing to do with what... there was an album by the Beach Boys that they came out, and I read about it. It was like the Beach Boys Party, and it sounds like a live album.
Right.
But it was where the song Barbara Ann became a hit from. It was the only hit from it. But they did all these covers. They did a bunch of Beatles covers, and it was like they were at a party just playing instruments, just playing around. You hear everybody yelling in the background, having fun.
Right.
Then I read into it. It wasn't really a live album. They recorded in a studio, and then they brought people in to throw the party atmosphere around there. But the song Barbara Ann came from that.
Well, here's what songs you have from it, which some people do. Like, you got Fly on the Wall, which is just a I'm a fly on the wall. You know?
What's your big hit? What else is on there?
This is I think was the video Sink the Pink. You remember that one?
Not really.
Which is kind of their, they got those cheeky songs.
Sounds like about 100 AC/DC songs.
Sink the Pink! But though I think, it was pretty, yeah.
When this came out, was it just filler for MTV? Because that sounds like the background on there.
Yeah, it was kind of the Beavis and Butthead soundtrack, I think. Let's see, it's 1985, so actually it's before that. Wow. To me, it's just like, I think, here's the cover. You can see it's got a fly.
Right.
And it's just, I think they were just, they'd at that time, they'd probably been a band, since 74, 84, like 11 years then. And
I'm sorry.
No, and then they're just kind of like, I don't know, you get record company people like, well, let's get some kind of cool, cartoony thing or something. Who knows? Let's get something going.
Let's do something through our marketing and videos and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
In 1985,
That's it. Yeah.
It might not have been. It was I would say maybe the peak of videos.
Yeah. You're right there
because it was 4 years into MTV, and now they were really putting some money into it, and a lot of there's a lot of movies coming out, like Footloose and movies like that from the mid-'80s that had nothing but all these videos that movie was made because of MTV, so all that. Exactly. So that might have been what they were doing there. Yeah. Now, when we were talking about doing stuff on the show, you had a game, and there's been a game that I wanted to play with you for a long time.
Yeah, let's do that game.
What game do you want to play first?
Well, my game, I always do it at the end. Which is Rock Fantasy League.
Okay.
You pick 4 guys and bass, guitar, drums, and singer, and you put together your dream band. The Rock Fantasy League. Before we get to that, though, let's talk a little bit about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay, because that just went down.
Oh, so we're not going to have my game.
No, we're going to do your game right after this.
All right.
That's what I'm saying. Because this is like a topic everybody's been asking.
But my game of the tour.
I know what it is,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
It's a good game,
No
too.
disrespect to the host.
No, not at all.
Okay, what are you talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Okay, so this year, the nominees. Let's go over the nominees first, and then we'll go over who got in. Paul Butterfield Blues Band.
Okay, not familiar.
Okay. Chic.
I think what they did.
La Freak, that was
I know. Maybe did more for disco,
right,
than just about any other band. And I think that they're.
You mean more than the Saturday Night Fever Bee Gees soundtrack?
No. I guess that's pretty.
Because that is the disco Bible.
But I'm saying for the style, who are the guys that got together with Robert Palmer and did, and the guys from Duran Duran, who was the drummer from Chic.
What was that band called?
They did Some Like It's Hot and Bang a Gong.
Oh, yeah.
Power Station. Right. But they just... So I think Chic had individuals that were just spectacular.
Right.
And...
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, though?
It depends upon, if you are in your category, if you're the best at what you do.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Right.
I'm not going to keep them out. I mean, they had...
But, I mean, here's my only thing. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Country Hall of Fame, they don't have any hip-hop in the Country Hall of Fame. They don't have any disco in the Country Hall of Fame. They don't have any R&B in the Country Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? So is it a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or is it a Music Hall of Fame?
Good question. I think that it's probably more of a Music Hall of Fame.
That's what they should call it. They should call it the History of Music Hall of Fame. Right? What do you think?
All right. But I don't like it. I don't know why I don't like it.
I understand, but what I'm saying is...
I know what you mean. I understand what you're saying, and I think that you're right, but I don't know. I just don't know.
This is why I say that. Because I love all kinds of music. I love Chic. I love Paul Butterfield's Blues Band.
Do you know Paul Butterfield?
Yeah. That's like I got one of the records. I forget what it is. But what I'm saying is I love all kinds of music. So if we're just going to have it a Music Hall of Fame, because what you get is the same old guys every year going, that's not rock and roll.
Right.
They say the same shit every year. And what I'm trying to say is to eliminate those idiots, either call it the Music Hall of Fame.
The Pop Music Hall of Fame.
Not pop, because there's bands in it.
But popular bands.
Right.
Pop is popular.
How about just Music Hall of Fame? Because they're going with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Okay, let's go on to see some others.
Let me just say one thing, though. They're going with that because of what's happening with, they needed some kind of... like Hook, when rock was big, it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but rock's not that big now, so they got to have other things in there. Okay, here we go. Next one is Deep Purple. Absolutely should be in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Deep Purple. There is no fucking doubt that Deep Purple should not be in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. Even though I think it's a different criteria, because I'll tell you this, most people might know the album Machine Head.
Right.
They may know it, but they'll know the songs from that, which, to me, what an incredible album.
Come on.
That is a great, heavy metal is what they called it at the time.
Yeah, they did.
Album. That is a great album. But then you wonder,
Which I think you talked about on the first podcast. That was the first record called heavy metal.
Was it?
I think that's what you said. I don't remember.
I think that the term heavy metal was from, what band? Oh, God, why can't it? Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf.
When they used the word heavy metal.
Right.
But but all that music of the early 70s, that genre of heavy metal music, but they were great at what they did. And their lead singer played Jesus Christ. So
yeah, not only that, but Richie Blackmore being one of the dopest guitar players of all time. The way I look at it is if your band made a substantial mark, but then influenced a ton of people later that became famous, like Yngwie Malmsteen. You know what I mean? He's famous because of Richie Blackmore. He worshipped him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, you're getting these next legacies from the original.
Who's after Deep Purple?
Okay.
I agree with you on that.
Peter Gabriel.
Peter Gabriel, absolutely.
100% visionary.
I am not I have a lot of Peter Gabriel music.
I don't like Peter Gabriel at all. But I recognize
I understand what he did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. I would imagine there was some huge Genesis fans until Peter Gabriel left. Then that's when they exploded.
Yep. Yeah.
But I would say absolutely Peter Gabriel.
Absolutely. It's just ridiculous that if he's not in there. Next up, which is probably one of my all-time 100% favorite bands, Hall & Oates.
Do you like Hall & Oates?
Oh, God, yeah.
I absolutely love Hall & Oates.
Let me tell you, first of all, no one has more fucking hits than this band. If you get the record that Hall & Oates' greatest
biggest duo ever.
Rock and Soul Part 1, that greatest hits.
I would even go more of that because I am such a hardcore Hall & Oates fan.
Well,
because
of course.
In that, I don't think that they have their Big Bam Boom album that even touches base with there. So you're missing one of their huge albums on that greatest hits album.
Right. Well, what I love about it is if you don't need Hall & Oates in your life or something, you get that record and you go, oh fuck, look at these songs.
And it's funny, they had kind of two careers. They in the mid 70s they had kind of a big going career, and then they died out. And then in the 80s, they came back, and they were bigger than ever.
Yeah, because in the late 70s, you got my favorite era, like Sarah Smiles, She's Gone, Rich Girl. But then in the 80s, you get that Private Eyes, Man Eater, all that stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, it's two different careers at two different times. Blue-Eyed Soul, and I mean, it was funny that they were accepted. They got to the point, and they, in the We Are the World session, Daryl Hall, they called that part with Steve Perry, Daryl Hall, and who's the third guy there? Kenny Loggins?
Yep.
The Blue-Eyed Soul section right there of We Are the World. And it was pretty good. I mean, it's and I've seen it a few times, but he has a show on.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. It's great.
It's like from his
like guys come over
house,
and write songs at his house
and
in
they
Malibu?
just play.
Yeah,
and
man.
they just play, and they'll play some Hall & Oates stuff. I saw an advertisement with CeeLo Green singing one of the Hall & Oates. What? Manny? No, maybe. Oh, Can't Go For That.
Oh yeah, I can't go for that. No, can do.
Yeah, they so
80s. I love that.
So they made it to the Hall of Fame, and they hate each other.
God,
Hall & Oates hate each other.
Yeah. Well, the Oates is so weird. He's about 4 feet tall.
Right.
He's on roids. He's got big guns.
Yep.
He looks just so creepy up there, right? But Hall is really the real deal. He sang on all those backgrounds on all those Stax records, I think it was, back in the day. He was one of the background singers. And he just, man, his voice is killer. And I saw him at House Blues a couple of years ago. Just killing, man.
She's
Gone.
There's another moment from Kimmel that I got a chance to to talk to him because there was a long break. They had him on during. Jimmy has a San Gennaro feast where they, all the Italians put on their show, and it's a big feast there, and it was their first night. Well, Daryl Hall and his band, they were on the show to promote his album, and I mean, literally, not anyone was paying attention to what the hell he was doing. And I remember during the break, I was saying, "What is this like?" And he goes, "I can't even think. Does it kind of remind you of your days at Hall & Oates to play the fairs?" And he goes, "That's it. I hated that, and I hate this now," he said.
All right, next up, which is the biggest controversy of the Hall of Fame, is Kiss.
Kiss.
They finally make it in.
My feeling?
Yeah.
Absolutely involved.
100%.
Because what they did is they took a style of music. Their music is god-awful.
Right, you don't like them, I like Kiss.
I don't, you and so
Earl.
that's the reason you had Earl on.
Cocaine Earl. Yeah.
Cocaine Earl.
But the thing was with Kiss with me was every guest I have on this couch always says, I say, "So what got you into music?" And they always say, Kiss.
Really?
I mean, it's universal. And I had Cedric Bixler on from At the Drive-In, a huge fucking Mars Volta singer, and he called Kiss, which is great, the gateway drug. They're the gateway to other music. And that's what kids got when they were young. And then later they either kept on the shitty music or they went to something better.
See, I look at this. Kiss broke with their first Alive album.
Yeah.
And again, goes back to Michigan, the fact that when they made a live album, it seems like a lot of these bands of the 70s, when they made a live album,
Cobo Hall.
Either Cobo Hall in Detroit or they went someplace in Boston. Jay Giles did both. I mean, it's kind of like Kiss was big in Michigan.
Yeah.
And I appreciate what they did. Are there a lot? Would they be in my top 50 bands? No.
Yeah.
Do I appreciate what they?
Yeah.
Pardon me?
They would be for me. But I
have every CD they have.
Right, you do. We talked about it. And I went through a phase where I was like, I don't listen to Kiss at all now. But then last month I was in Vegas. Danny at the store says, go see the Kiss Pee Wee Golf. I go in there. They've got all the memorabilia from day one. And I start looking at it, and I get, all of a sudden, I'm a kid again. Whoa, look at that poster. I had that in my room. There's the shirts.
I got a chance to meet at Kimmel. He was just in the green room. The guy who's the head of the football team, the arena football team.
Oh, the new one.
The Kiss team.
Yeah.
And he was telling me how the Kiss is going to play the games. And I'm telling you this, I've never had any excitement about going to see an arena football game. I will go see an arena football game with Kiss playing.
Yeah, I'll go with you.
Love to do it.
Well, here's what happened. I'm playing Pee Wee Golf. They got a kid DJing in the corner. He's playing Kiss. And as you're playing, he's like, what song you want to hear? So I said, oh, man, I don't care. Just play whatever. And he started playing this record called The Elder, which when Kiss put it out back in the day, which Bob Ezrin did, who did The Wall.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that I didn't know, that matchup. I know the album, but I didn't know
Now
that.
they wanted, at the time, they're like, we want to do a concept record. The Wall's big. We want to be big. They get him in there. He's doing all kinds of cocaine. It's a disaster.
Really?
And people call
So
it...
you think it didn't make it as big as The Wall?
Yeah, right. Well, people call it their worst record. There's even a book out. The
worst albums?
Yeah, their worst album. But now when I hear it, I go, this fucking record's great. And now I'm hooked on The Elder. I'm going to buy it on vinyl.
Really?
Yeah, I
Crazy.
love it. Because I think when you're young, it's so different from their, know, she got the look, got to move, got to choose all their hits, Beth and all that.
I'll tell you one thing that it always impressed me, that every time I think of Kiss, I think of that Kiss My Ass album, the cover where everybody did it. And I'm telling you, the best cover
Garth Brooks?
version. The Garth Brooks. Have I told you that before?
No, but I know
The
that.
Garth Brooks album, that cover of that song, Hard Luck Woman, is it?
Yeah.
Great.
That's a great song.
It's a great song, and it just goes to show that it is a great song.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can tell if a band's, like, even if you don't like the band, you give a couple of their songs to somebody else, and they're going to have fucking hits.
Absolutely. And it's like Garth Brooks, I remember the biggest country guy, like in the early 90s or whatever.
Yep.
And during that time, his influences, Kiss.
I know.
So
he even did a rock guy. Remember, Garth Brooks became that fake rock guy.
Right.
And he was like Danny Gaines. Gaines, yeah. Yeah, remember that?
That was awful. That was absolutely terrible because me and my friends, when he was at his biggest in his country album, there were such catchy tunes in the fact of you'd remember them. And we would disrupt class, 6 of us little girls, by just screaming. I forget which Garth Brooks song, but I mean, it got us kicked out immediately. That's what we wanted,
Yeah.
But that fake shit was just terrible.
Oh, he played Saturday Night Live as that, remember?
Right, I do remember that.
Oh, my God, he had that wig on, and it was like, what is this?
It was terrible. And I mean,
It's
Saturday
Andy
Night
Kaufman
Live
almost,
of all
right?
places, like that's a place, that's a unique forum to display yourself as any type of entertainer or character. And
Yep.
how he failed so miserably on that, just...
When we talk about that "Kiss My Ass" album,
Yep.
when Dickie Barrett from the Mighty Mighty Bosstones became the announcer on Jimmy Kimmel, one of the first times that I got to talk to him and really talk about stuff besides just total bullshit was when I asked about that. Because do you remember they did Detroit Rock City on that? I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
But they had a video of it, and Dickie told me the story, and it's actually explained in the video. I don't know about the song, but it's Gene Simmons calling Dickie to tell him that he didn't want him to do that song because someone else was doing it.
Yeah.
But they got on that album, and I thought that little experience, and I love that song too by them.
So you like the songs, you just...
It's just that I can't.
You're older.
Yeah.
I always tell the famous story. My neighbor was like 2 years older than me. He's a stoner. He had a great fucking Camaro 8-track, Rick Ortega. And, I have Kiss shirt, and he'd be like, that stuff's shit.
Yeah.
You're not going to listen to that when you get older. And he would drive me to school. His mom made him drive me and his little brother to school. And he'd be playing Eagles, Hotel California, Ted Nugent's Cat Scratch Fever, Boston 2. And,
Boston 2?
Yeah, the second one.
Was it called Boston 2?
Don't Look Back.
Don't Look Back, yeah.
And, he was like, this is the shit right here. And we'd be like, fuck you, this stuff sucks. Kiss! And now I think about that all the time. And you're like that too, and you're like...
And it's like one of those things, but I don't care about that. I can actually see, even to this day, why Britney Spears was a machine when she first came out.
Why she was big, you mean?
Absolutely.
Right.
It's funny. She still is big.
Yep.
Because she still is putting out #1 songs, which is a little unfair.
Well, the new record came in at number 4, and they're saying flop, which is hilarious. Wait, number 4? Do you understand how many records came out, and you're calling it a flop because it's number 4?
Yeah.
She's like almost, 35 or something, man. It's a young girl's game, and she's got a number 4 record. And she's in Vegas, where she picked up $35 million.
Absolutely. She's got her career. I'm not going to feel sorry for Britney Spears. All right, who else is in there?
Okay, then we got LL Cool J.
Absolutely.
You think he should be in?
I think what he represented in the rap game was something, during that time, he was the biggest, one of the most, he was almost like every woman thought of him as just a beautiful man.
Yeah.
And so he crossed over in so many areas.
But we're coming down to that's hip hop, though.
It is hip hop.
That's why I'm saying.
Well, but it is the Music Hall of Fame.
That's
it's
what
just
it
not
is.
called it.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I will go with that.
Okay.
And I we're just going after a title. I think that these people should be involved, because then if they're not, where do the blues artists go?
I understand.
That's part of rock. And
Yep.
you know what? Every single huge rocker of the 60s was
Stole from the
influenced.
blues
Yeah,
guys, yeah.
exactly. I mean, the Rolling Stones, at least they're big enough
Zeppelin.
to admit it. Yeah.
There's no Zeppelin without blues.
Right.
I understand. All I'm saying is change the name, not for me, just so I don't have to hear the same shit every year from these idiots that go, well, LL Cool J ain't rock. It's like, wait a minute. Mama Said Knock You Out is fucking rocking. You ever heard that? Mama Said Knock You Out. Boom, dun, 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 dun. And Rick Rubin did that.
Yeah.
That shit is rock, man.
Who's up after LL Cool
Okay.
J?
Oh, well, the Meters. Fuck yeah, man. The Meters. You like the Meters? Funky
Don't
Meters?
know him that well.
Yeah, that's but they're incredible musicians. They
I would take your word for
they
it.
definitely influenced Dave Matthews and shit like that,
Yeah.
you know, and all that kind of jam band stuff. And also, if you have Booker T and the MGs around, you got to have the Meters around.
See, I'm not that familiar. So
There's a great record, Funky Meters, live on the Queen Mary. It's spectacular.
Huh.
And pick it up. You'll love it, man.
Okay, next one.
Next one is, of course, a slam dunk, Nirvana. There's no fucking way you're not putting Nirvana in the first round.
Again, in the genre of music that they did, they may not have been the best, but they were definitely the most popular and the most well-known.
Right.
They were the best.
Thank you.
Now, who do you think's the best out of the grunge era, Don?
I would go with Nirvana because of the fact I think Nevermind is almost a perfect album in so many ways.
Yeah. Almost?
Well, there's songs that I don't like on there.
Really?
Yeah, it's, but I will say this, of the songs that I like, just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal songs.
Well, I feel there is a flavor of Beatles to Nirvana as far as jangly hooks.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying? Here we are now, entertain us. It's kind of jangly. Beatles have these great big choruses, which are cool. They grab you and you never fucking forget them. And that's how a lot of those Nirvana songs come as you are.
Great band. I always think this, when someone goes that quickly, there's some kind of magic in the world, and I think that
they were here for a reason, right?
Exactly.
It's like a spark.
Exactly.
Here, drop down. We need some people to have some,
and
good
because
times.
of that, if you said, "Tell me your 1,000 favorite songs," I don't know how many Foo Fighters songs would be in there, and yet I think Dave Grohl might be one of the greatest musicians in my eyes, and one of my heroes in music because of the simple fact, not only was he in the band that broke grunge to another level, but he also then went on, did it on his own, and just is such a fan of music. I remember seeing they had on another Kimmel story, which was very cool, when what was that album they put out because he bought the soundboard from some studio.
Oh, Sound City. I love that.
City.
It's my movie of the year.
Right. And they had like all these guys
incredible
that were on there.
Fleetwood Mac.
Right. But what I'm saying, on Jimmy Kimmel, he brought all these guys in there. And it was like, holy crap, look at this. And then, who's the guitar player that was
Pat
with
Smear?
Yeah, Pat Smear. But I mean, he was on stage.
So great. My buddy Rami Jaffe on the keyboards from Wallflowers. They brought B3.
I look at him as a member of Nirvana.
Yeah.
So they had 3 members of Nirvana on stage, and I was like, holy shit, this is great.
And then they
worked
played with Paul
McCartney. Yeah. And just he's such a fan of music.
Yeah.
I mean, bringing everybody from John Fogerty into that.
Next up, NWA.
Absolutely.
Here's my thing. Go ahead, Mary Jane.
Were you going to mention that you were one of the...
Okay, there's rumors, and I'm not, because when I first came to town, I went by the name Snoop Down with 2 N's.
Oh, yeah?
And that story, I was a tambourine player, and I was working with NWA. It's just a long story.
I thought you were a co-founder.
Okay, I lied about that.
Is that how you got together with Mary Jane?
No.
You just said, hey, I'm in NWA, and she said I'm in?
Absolutely not. That wasn't impressive. And the whole Comfort thing was just a crock of shit.
Comfort is my pimp character. Comfort is love.
Okay, here's my thing with NWA. 100% one of my favorite records of all time, but only half good. It's what I love about them is what they started and what they smashed out, but it's only half good record.
I can believe that, but it's just there is something. Even listening to it today.
Don't get me wrong.
And you look at it, to me, Dr. Dre,
genius.
Absolutely the best producer in the history of rap.
Ice Cube, genius. Ice Cube's my favorite out of the 3.
You know what's funny? Ice Cube, when he's been on.
I did a movie with him, and I'm fucking looking at him in the face, going, "Look at this guy! Fuck the police!" Is all I keep thinking, man. I'm like, this guy rules.
I saw him say that. they asked, who's the best rapper? I am. And I mean, do you think he's the best rapper ever?
I don't think he's the best rapper ever, but I think he's the best out of that crew because I love the violence that he brought to the flavor. The violence was so radical and real on those first two solo records. I mean, those first two, there's a song called Summer Vacation about selling crack in St. Louis. It's one of my favorite songs ever.
Really?
I play it once a week here at the Hut. It's incredibly gangster. It is insane, and I love Cube.
Yeah.
And he does great shit like the Raider documentary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he put out record after record after record. Dre's great, but he put out the Chronic, and there you go. He disappears.
Well,
which is smart. He's like Axl Rose.
He came back with another one.
Yeah. But I mean,
came back with another one.
What one?
2001. What is it? I can't even think.
I don't know. Dre did a second record?
Oh, yeah. No, that was...
that's with Tupac. Tupac's probably...
Okay,
Tupac.
why can't it... 2001? What is... Look it up. I mean, he definitely... His second album was bigger than... Maybe not in the realm of... but
man, I don't know about
sales,
that, dude.
It was like Eminem was on that one. Snoop Dogg. I mean, that album is great. I even have the instrumental version of that. Why can't I think of the name of this album?
Because you smoke weed. And when you smoke weed, your mind goes.
It's very funny because...
The Chronic 2001.
Yeah.
That's the record I'm talking about.
Okay, what was his first...
That's the biggest record ever.
What was his first album? The Chronic was the first album. 2001. Maybe it was called The Chronic.
Yeah, The Chronic.
I thought it was 2001. But you know what? But there's... The Chronic, the first one.
That's all I'm talking about, The Chronic.
Okay, well, the first one...
here we go. Let's get it up here. The Chronic is a masterpiece.
Both of his first two albums are masterpieces.
I don't know any other thing. I know The Chronic. And
the first album is called The Chronic.
Right.
Not this one. This one's called 2001. Maybe it's 2001 The Chronic or The Chronic 2001.
Yeah.
But I know it's all black.
I don't know, man.
Okay. Look up Dr. Dre.
Here's one in 96, The Aftermath. Remember that one?
That was where he just, all things that he produced. He put one song on there.
Exactly. I like the stuff he did, California.
Let me see.
How great is that?
Let me just see this.
I'm on it right here. Look, Dr. Dre. He might not have a shit on iTunes.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Look up on,
look on
Wikipedia. Go to Wikipedia.
Yeah. Here we go. Dr. Dre's. We're going deep here, people.
No, this is like the easiest question in the world. I know the first album was called The Chronic. That's the one that introduced Snoop Dogg to the world and made, when Snoop Dogg released his first album, they call it the most anticipated album ever.
Which is a great record. I love that one. Murder was the case that they gave me. Little Boo-Boo got a pencil in his neck.
Go down.
That shit is great. Here we go. They got The Chronic, and then... You have
go to discography.
Detox.
No, that's when he worked with Eminem. That's
okay.
Oh, that's no. Detox is the one that's never come out.
The Chronic, Death
Go down
Row.
to disc.
I'm looking right here.
Keep going farther down. I'll show you. Go down. Keep going.
Nothing, man.
Right there. Go.
Okay.
Go up.
Oh, here we go. Wait a minute. Let me get to the discovery.
Right there. You went past. Oh, it's right there, too.
Here it is. He's got Straight Outta Compton.
Right.
N-Words for
Chronic,
Life.
2001.
The Chronic. And then 2001 it's just called. I don't know that record.
That's what I said.
I don't know that record at all.
Yeah, you do.
I do? What's on it? Let's look at what's on it. Here we go. Here's the songs. Fuck You. Still Dre.
Still Dre's
Big Egos. What's the difference?
Forget About Dre. That was a huge song.
Oh, that was with
the
Eminem.
next episode was a huge song.
Yeah, this record sucks.
Oh, it does not. This album does not suck.
Okay. So we got so NWA we say in. Next up, Replacements.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Because that's always been kind of to me like a band that I don't know. What's your feeling?
You know, hipsters love them, heavily influenced and stuff, but I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they should.
But again, if you're saying that Dr. Dre or NWA, because they're at the top of their field,
right?
If the hipster crowd, their favorite band is the Replacements, then yes.
Yeah, well, the replacements sell records every year.
Yeah, then they should.
People go and get them. You know, Paul, who's in that band, Replacements? That's the bass player, Tommy Stinson, is in Guns N' Roses now.
Really?
Which is totally weird, right? Next up, Linda Ronstadt.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Now, I knew you'd love this one because you love the Eagles, and so do I. But look I was going over Linda Ronstadt's I Loved Back in the USA, that song. But these songs that she had, man, she had Heat Wave. I'm on a heat wave.
Right. She did a bunch of covers during that time, but they
Just One Look.
They pushed her as a pop singer during the mid to late 70s.
Totally.
And she became, she had a lot of big hits. I mean, and
It's So Easy to Fall in Love.
absolutely. She did all those covers, and then she worked with,
Hurts So Bad.
yeah.
Remember that one?
Absolutely.
Okay, and then she, You're No Good. You're no good. You're no good. That's a cover.
All of them are covers.
Yeah, totally. And then You're No Good was 51 weeks on the charts.
Really?
Insane, right? I love her. She's got some...
And you know what? And the Eagles, they say that her version of Desperado made the Eagles.
That's what she said, yeah.
That's what...
She's got Parkinson's now, which is
Does
a
she
total
really?
bummer, yeah. I mean,
And she was a very attractive woman. And when she...
she did a Spanish record that was huge,
Yes.
too.
But something you might not know, when he was an up-and-coming comic, Linda Ronstadt used to come to the Comedy Store because she was dating.
Who's that?
You don't know?
The Dice?
No, not
Okay.
Dice.
That would be funny, though.
Hey,
Sucking my dick.
No,
Who?
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
Right.
Wow. Jim Carrey used to date her?
Yes, when she was at her peak of popularity.
Oh, my God.
Or maybe right past her peak. Maybe in the early
but still,
80s.
man, that's a good
Yeah.
notch. Okay.
By the way, did that, what's that one hamburger stand on Santa Monica Boulevard? It's gone. Irv's Burgers?
Oh, yeah, it's
There was
gone,
a famous Linda Ronstadt album on the inside cover. Her band with all those guys that played with like James Taylor and all those guys,
Yeah.
all those California guys. They're in Irv's Burgers, and it was a very popular picture. It was the inside of her cover of Living in the USA or one of those albums.
Where
And
was Irv's Burgers? I don't remember.
It's right on Santa Monica, fairly close to Sawtell. It's actually Sawtell. I'm going to say fairly close to La Cienega.
Right.
But it used to be
Kind
a
of by
lot,
Barney's Beanery.
a little bit farther
Right.
east.
Gotcha.
A little bit farther east, but like a half a block or a block and a half or something like that.
All right, we could talk about this all
Linda
day,
Ronstadt.
but the last one I just want to get into is Cat Stevens, who I fucking worship.
Really?
Oh,
I would never say that, but I think Cat Stevens was incredible. Again, he's like a guitar player, singer, songwriter, but had some unbelievably great
Dude,
songs.
his songs are so great. The one that I remember growing up, there's key songs when I was growing up, and Wild World was, ooh, baby, baby, it's a wild world. That song I remember hearing all the time, along with Carole King's, So Far Away.
Right.
That was that era of those guys, that flavor of that, and I really, really liked it. And Paul Simon's, 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, all those kind of singer-songwriters I loved back then because they'd play them on the AM radio,
Right.
and my mom had the records.
My favorite one was Peace Train by him.
Yeah, Peace Train, and also, let's see, there was one I looked up, what's here, Father and Son.
That's a good
Yeah,
song,
that's a
too.
great one.
Not one of my favorites,
Right.
but I like that.
But yeah, just a great.
Absolutely should be in the Hall of Fame.
He looked cool as shit.
Gave away everything.
Gave
for
away
religion.
everything. Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean,
not crazy, but
not crazy, but his beliefs were there, and it's
Yeah.
But the fact that you're turning your back on so much money,
Yeah, right.
but
Pretty gangster.
Yeah.
Pretty gangster.
Yes.
That wasn't for some secret tax evasion or something?
Conspiracy theory. Mary Jane thinks that I killed Kennedy.
Absolutely.
After all, it was just you and me.
Let me check.
I think Perry did it when he was a 3-day-old baby.
What are you checking there, Dean?
I'm checking for some questions before we go into your game.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Can I start to explain the game and then you tell me?
Absolutely.
All right, the game is this.
You explain, I got to piss.
And we can't play this, but here's the game. You are allowed to take a fantasy rock and roll tour. And I said 10 weeks. We'll decide on how long it is. But what you can do, every week you're at a new place. And you're not in the, I guess you can say you're in the inner circle of a band. So you're kind of on tour. And you can pick a week of any time during this band's career. If you want to go down to dates, you can do that. But you get to travel with this band. Let's say that you wanted to go Jimi Hendrix the week that he played Woodstock. You are kind of on the inner circle of Jimi Hendrix the week he played Woodstock. If you can go like a Van Halen. What tour do you go on? Do you go on the 1984 tour? What tour do you go on? So this is the thing. I say 10 weeks. You want to who are some of the bands that you might want to do?
Well, we did it before, only for 1 second, but then you clowned me for a long time at the store, and I was like, I just go on the road with Zeppelin all of 77. And then you go, wait, you just threw it all away. But as we fire it back up, I get to pick 10 weeks, right?
You get 10 weeks, and you can go on 10 different times. You can go see the Beatles.
Yeah.
In Germany before they made it, their raw energy, and watch them for a week.
It's basically 10 choices, or 1 or 5, whatever. A couple weeks.
See, I almost want to say you can't go on one tour.
Okay.
You could go on early Van Halen, then come back and see him in 1984. You could do something like that.
Okay.
I think that it works better if you have 10 different experiences.
I understand that, but the problem is when you have 10 in a game, it gets too. I like. Here it is. So how about 4 tours?
You can go 4 tours, and do you want to?
I mean, 4 weeks.
Right, 4 weeks.
It's 1 month in summer. Your boss says, "All right, you get a month summer, and here's the time machine."
Okay,
step into the time machine.
And where are you going?
All right, so my first, and I've rethought this big time, but my first would definitely be to see AC/DC for a week on the Highway to Hell tour.
Okay.
Because that's the last for Bon, and you're really getting all. I saw Highway to Hell tour, but you're really getting all the songs back. You know what I mean? Back from the whole catalog of Bon.
Right. And was Bon Scott your guy from AC/DC? Do you not like Brian Johnson?
I do, but Brian's only for me 3 records.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? The ones I named: Back in Black, Those About to Rock, and Flick of the Switch.
Yeah.
So I'm out. I see Bon. I go see Bon on the Highway to Hell tour. We do some serious drinking.
So you're drinking with Bon?
I'm drinking with Bon for sure.
And is he not saying to anybody, "Hey, who's this guy who's on the inner circle now drinking with me"?
Yeah. I just start drinking.
Okay, so for a week you're with Bon Scott. Okay, during the Highway to Hell.
Now I go see a band I never saw.
Okay.
I go out and I see Thin Lizzy. On the Thunder and on the that Live Lizzy record, that tour, which is like Boys in the Back of Town, all that. I never saw Thin Lizzy. To go out and watch that, because those guys, when I watch the videos, I watch a lot of YouTube.
Right.
They sound just like the record.
Right.
The singer was filling out, was a great singer. The guitar guys were incredible, you know. So I'd like to see the power of that.
Okay. This is interesting.
Yeah.
Go on.
Then, this is a really weird one, but I would have liked to have seen, which I didn't get to see ever, Michael Jackson, if he would have done. I don't think he did a tour on that Off the Wall record. Yeah, I don't think he did.
Okay, I'll tell you what he did do.
Yeah.
This. He released Off the Wall, and then the Jacksons released Destiny.
Yeah, they did the Destiny
and they
tour.
did the Destiny
I remember
tour,
that.
And it was a lot of his stuff. And he was at, and again, then they went on tour again after they did a Victory, an album called Victory.
Yeah, that's right.
With the
Victory tour also.
And I actually saw that one.
You did?
And they had on there on that album, they had the Mick Jagger song singing "State of Shock."
Oh yeah.
Who was the guy that they originally did it for? And I think you may even have it.
Ted Nugent?
No, he was the guy instead of
instead of
Mick Jagger.
Oh.
Another lead singer. And I'll give you a hint. He was another lead singer of a band. Did the song State of Shock with him.
I don't know.
Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, so Jackson didn't tour that, so I don't need to see the Jacksons. I don't need to see that weirdness.
Right.
So I would pick Queen then on the Game tour.
Oh, see, that's a good time, too, because they were really at their peak.
Yeah.
Would you have seen The Who at any point?
I saw The Who.
But what year?
Yeah, because I saw on Eminence Front 81, 82.
See,
That's 82. I know, it doesn't count.
After Keith Moon was
I know.
gone.
Yeah.
And so I sometimes wonder, would I have liked to have seen him during the Who Are You? Did they tour for that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And so that would have been Keith Moon's last time. But you understand he wasn't that good during that time.
Right.
So you wonder if...
I watched footage of that, though. They played like Day in the Green in Oakland. He was pretty cool.
Was he?
Yeah. But not, I mean, it's not
So that's the thing. I don't know if... Because I think I might want to go see The Who because the energy that they had. But I'd like to see Keith Moon when he was great. I wonder if he was great in 75.
Yeah, I mean, he's bigger and he's not that wild guy that he was, but he still played cool. Some people said he was kind of, out of shape and everything like
in 75.
Yeah, like you see the 70s.
But he was really out of shape during the Who Are You?
Like, what was that? Yeah, 78, yeah.
Maybe
Yeah, I
79.
don't know. They played Oakland twice during that era, and I didn't see him. I saw him on 82.
So and I always kind of debate if I would want to see Van Halen.
Right.
And when do you see Van Halen?
Well, I saw him, Van Halen. I saw him all the tours, basically the second, the Women and Children, the Fair Warning, and I think after Fair Warning, you don't need to see him ever again because he stopped singing. Like I said,
interesting.
So to see him on 2, and to me, Women and Children was so dangerous. They were finally in arenas.
I can honestly feel that I wanted to try to get the vibe of Van Halen because there's the ultimate party rock and roll band. They represented everything that rock and roll is supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so you say 84 because
no, not 84. I say 82. Like right around in there. I saw him.
So that was Diver Down.
No. Well, whatever
82.
Women and Children is. What is that?
That 80 in the 70s.
Hold up. No. It comes out. I think it's 80. Let's look real quick.
Right. And so I've always had a hard time, and now to put 4, I would have loved to have seen the Beatles. But when do you see the Beatles? Do you follow them during their first week here?
I see them on the rooftop show.
Really?
Yeah, it's so cool. Because you're one of the guys that saw the last show.
Right.
And they were wearing those outfits. They had cool gear, and they were playing those songs, man.
Or do you think that maybe seeing following Elton John when John Lennon played his last concert on Thanksgiving in 1974?
Right.
Because that was the last time John Lennon ever appeared on stage.
1980s Women and Children.
1980.
Yeah. Thing about Women and Children is the first time they were in arenas. Like they played Oakland 3 nights.
Really?
I went all 3. One of the nights was David Lee Roth's birthday.
See, there was something that was really sucked. Remember when they toured and they had David Lee Roth recently?
Yeah.
There was some guy that was at the Comedy Store and he was part of their touring company.
Yeah.
And he was telling a lot of us, hey, I can get you tickets. And I go, hey, seriously.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with me. I'd love to see them. And I don't want to miss these guys.
Yeah.
Can you really get us tickets? Absolutely. Never heard from the guy again.
What a dick, right?
Yeah.
Cocaine.
Yep.
Yeah. That's some cocaine babble, right?
Fucking asshole.
Yeah, that group of douchebags. I mean, they were just trying to be cool. They were just like, they were complete fucking pricks about it. It's like, you didn't need to say that.
I really wanted to see it. And I kept saying, if you can't do it, just tell me because I'm going to try to buy tickets. I'm going to try to get good seats.
Yeah.
You see, that's the thing that spoiled me about working on Kimmel because I'm on stage.
Well, you're on stage.
Yeah, and you can never get good seats again.
Well, I was telling...
You know what? I'll tell you this. Here's one that my buddy actually went to see. When Born in the USA came out,
oh yeah, my mom saw that.
When he toured maybe in Europe or something, but his first concert back in this country, first time that they were playing Born in the USA was in New Jersey.
Oh.
So he opened it up with that. My buddy actually my friend Tony, actually saw that concert.
Yeah.
And I think that there might have been some excitement at that show.
I would, I think about it now. I wouldn't have mind seeing the Born to Run tour because I watched those fucking
the things from
those black and white ones from the
Right.
box set, and man, you see that like Apollo '78, I think it is, in Apollo, and you just look at it, and the guy is like a white James Brown, just giving it his all. You know,
absolutely, and playing that a little bit. Like,
yeah.
Having
I'm gonna say, boom, come on up, boom, that kind of stuff.
But I still think he had that going a little bit in the 80s.
Yeah, he did. But I mean, I love that Born to Run record.
That is, to me, that's a perfect album.
That's a masterpiece.
Absolutely. Born to Run is a perfect
E
album.
Street Band is getting not inducted, but they're getting some special award at this induction.
Really?
Yeah, which is pretty fucking cool. The E Street Band to me is incredible.
Yeah.
How great is, Clarence is gone now, but man, that shit, like the big man Jones, the band, right?
So you wouldn't put somebody like that in there? You wouldn't put Bruce Springsteen? Because I'll tell you, there's got to be some pretty... I saw him the very first night at the Staples Center, the night the Staples Center opened up for their first show.
Right.
It was Bruce Springsteen. And I walked, because they have a bunch of guys from New Jersey or New York that they get seats for that are right behind them.
Yeah.
And I somehow snuck my way into that section, and I was maybe 5 rows up. And they play to that section of the audience. They turn around, and they'll play to them a lot.
Was that 99? Because
It might
that was
have
my
been.
favorite tour of the
It
reunion.
might have been. It might have been.
Yeah, the first time E Street's back, 99.
Might have been. Little Steven was with him and all that.
That was an epic tour.
And I'll tell you this. I was standing back there and watching them that close during the song The Promised Land. And now you're actually seeing what he sees in front of him.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, what a performer.
I fuck myself on these games, Don, because I just spit stuff out.
It's like when you say Thin Lizzy, how can you not want to be?
Well, no, I do. I really would want to see Thin Lizzy, man. To me, it was just like, wow. I mean, I love that's a band I didn't see. I've seen a lot of these other bands in epic situations.
But in 75, seen Bruce Springsteen.
I didn't, but I saw him in 99, and I saw him on the Ghost of Tom Joad tour, solo acoustic.
Did you give me the
I gave you the last
concert
one.
at the Troubadour?
Yeah.
How long was that?
That's 70. That's
75.
Yeah.
Because they took some of it for his live album.
That's
there.
right, yeah.
But Born to Run was out.
Yeah. Born to Run was out. He had played the LA Forum that night. And then he goes, I'm going to play the Roxy at like 3 in the morning or 2 in the morning. Yeah, it's live at the Roxy.
Crazy, man.
So great. The quality, right?
Yeah, it's...
That one and Live at Winterland are unbelievable. I think Winterland's 78.
I still got... You know what I got to do? I got to double check, because some of that stuff, I don't know what we got.
Yeah.
And I want you... I'm really working on cleaning out my hard drives, and I want you to be able to take a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I want you to see what I got too. But
I'm in.
I want to get some of, because I think I'm missing some of that live stuff.
I'm going to get you on vinyl this year, 2014.
No, I don't need that. I don't need that. I've got over 5,000 vinyl albums.
You do? At your house?
Yeah.
What do you do with them?
I have them. I have like a little plastic sheet inside, and then I have the plastic on the outside to cover them.
Now, are these your ones when you bought when you were a kid?
I bought when I was a kid, and I kept up. And then when Aaron's and all these places started closing,
you just go buy it?
I just would go and just went crazy. And I'll tell you this, what I really did is I started picking up on the Picture Sleeves 45s.
Oh, yeah.
I just went nuts on that, and they had so many of these things.
I might have to come over and get some records from it.
Well,
there's got to be shit in there you don't want.
Oh, I'm a nut job.
You're a hoarder, right?
Yes,
a music
I am.
hoarder.
Hell yeah.
Look I'm getting rid of all my CDs.
I can't believe it.
2014, there's not going to be any CDs in here. It's going to be vinyl, and the rest will be on fucking iTunes or whatever shit.
See, that's the thing. I love iTunes so much because it's like, I actually today was
I hate it.
Do you really?
Yeah, I like going. I'm back into the old mode. I go down to the record store. I pick up the record.
There's no record stores.
Yeah, they're all over. You're wrong.
Okay.
They're everywhere.
I know of one here in the Hollywood area.
Oh my God, there's so many here, and they're all great.
Give me another one.
Okay, you got Amoeba. Then around the corner, you got another one right there on Vine. It's next to the Floyd's Barbershop.
I've never seen that.
Incredible. They got.
Is it all vinyl?
Yeah, only vinyl.
Okay.
Then they got that's why you're not in there. Then they got two in Eagle Rock that Marin turned me on to.
Right, I know those two.
Those
I know
are
those
great.
two.
Then you've got one over in the Valley. You have.
I gotta find all these. I gotta find Pico where?
2 on Pico, one just west of the 405, and then the other one down closer to Santa Monica Boulevard and like 11th or 12th Street.
I'll tell you this. My personal feeling is that's how I take out stress. For some reason, I can go to like Amoeba.
I love it.
And I'll just go through there. That's how I
was there yesterday. Scored this Skinnerd record, which, by the way, I'd be on the Skinnerd tour, the last one.
Oh, really?
Fuck, I forgot that. I got that one for the road on vinyl over there, 180 milligram, just got re-released.
Yeah.
I put it on last night. I did the Comedy Magic Club. I burned Rubber Home. Stuck it on and was like, yeah, listen to that.
All right,
man.
so here's what I want you to do.
Okay.
I want you to honestly.
Yeah, I'm going to think about it and we're going to
I want you to
come
go
back
to
on.
a 10-week thing, though.
Okay, 10 weeks.
10 week and have it all down.
10 weeks is easier.
It is easier
Yeah.
because you can't. How can I say, oh, I'd like to see? Because I would skip out on so many things. You know, I'll tell you one thing that I even heard. I'm trying to think. You know that Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy album by Elton John?
Yeah.
He actually, on the deluxe version, they put in a CD of the first time that they introduced that album. And they played it at Wembley. And he played the entire album. Nobody knew any of the songs.
He played it live.
They played it live. And he says, I know you don't like
Neil
this.
Young style.
Ugh.
I love that.
Would you, I'll tell you, would you like to see, boy, I'll tell you this, because there's some Neil Young stuff I like.
Neil Young.
When was the last
god.
time that Neil Young toured with Crosby, Stills?
Well, they did it this year. They did it at the
right,
bridge,
but I'm saying that
the good
year,
one, like in
like when they were, did he have I'm wondering if he had like Cinnamon Girl and things like that he was playing with. You know what one of my favorite Neil Young songs is?
Oh, what one?
Only Love Can Break Your Heart.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know that song?
Yeah.
There's only love.
You know what song I love? Fucking Southern Man. I could hear it a million times.
Yep, Leonard Skinner.
Here, let's get the questions.
About it. All right.
Okay, Don Barris, Dean Del Rey, do you think Metallica will be playing when they're 70 years old? Of course, I do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was listening to an interview on Stern today, and they were talking about, that they've gone through their battles.
Yeah. Now they're just like they're like
they go. They
when
punch
you get a
into
pit
John.
bull and it's young, it's like
right.
And then later you see an old pit bull and it's laying around. You go, man, that's the greatest dog ever.
Right. Because they've gone through all their battles. Now they're just going there and they're just making money.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they don't have the hunger, but you know what?
Well, yeah, but
they're bringing joy to people, and I don't give a shit.
Absolutely.
Like Paul McCartney's not. Paul McCartney doesn't need money, but I got to see Paul McCartney live playing 15 songs. I am happy as hell.
Here's a guy, Jay Dominguez. We just covered this, but he thought, what do you feel about rap being covered in the hall? And like I said, I have no problem with it. I just say change the name of it because, see, this is a question right here. People say the same thing. Oh, man, that's not rock. And then people get into their mind, what's rock? What's metal? What's blues rock?
What's blues?
What's up?
And do you have a Hall of Fame for each individual's kind of music?
Let's just change it to Music Hall of Fame.
Right.
Okay.
But then does country still have their Hall of Fame? And I'd say yes, and I'll tell you why.
That's
because
different.
country has been around for so long, and they have so many fans that
they got their own museum.
That's
cool,
all they
right?
have, and that's all they have. A lot of people that like country, most of them, that's all they care about is country, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay. So next question here. Let's see. Here we go. Well, this guy wants to know. Oh, here we go. Should all the living members of KISS who've ever played in the band be invited to the induction, or just Ace and Peter, the original guys? Because, later they had like 5 guitar players. They've had 2 drummers.
Right. Well, one of them, Eric Carr, is
dead, yeah. So, to me, it's the 4 guys and Eric Carr. That's how I look at it.
But what about the current guys? You don't include those guys?
No.
So you
count.
think it would be cool that Kiss went into the Hall of Fame and 2 members of the band are not allowed to go to the ceremonies?
Well, they can go, but they're just hired guns, man, making salary, just putting on other...
Are they?
They're putting the other guy's face paint on.
Right.
So that's like, you're playing them. It's like...
But is there anybody else? Who else was like a great player that played with Kiss?
Well, Vinnie Vincent, which is Earl Skakel, Cocaine Earl's.
Why do you call him Cocaine Earl?
Because he was on the Cocaine podcast for 2 episodes.
And then have a problem making time.
He couldn't get over here, man. He couldn't get 8 minutes over. Okay, here we go.
So do you think Vinnie Vincent's in there?
Well, Vinnie Vincent wrote some of the hits, man, that got him to where they are.
And what year was Vinnie Vincent with them?
He came in right when they took the makeup, right before the makeup. He came in on the Creatures record, which I believe is probably around, I don't know, man. Fuck. Let's look. But he came in because Ace was, loaded. And I think Ace got in a car crash, but I still don't know if that was fake, just to fire him.
Really?
But they bring in this guy, and Motley Crue, 1982. And Motley Crue was the opener on that tour, and they were just destroying. One of the best tours I've seen, actually.
Yeah, there's another band that I would have to think about. And I'll tell you this. You might want to see them during Dr. Feelgood.
I saw that tour.
Did you really?
It's great.
Because I'll just tell you
I've seen all the Crue tours. Theater Pain.
Because I think that was their peak.
Yeah.
They were still wild. They were still out there.
Yeah.
And I think now they were just like monsters because of their power of being so big.
Yeah. A lot of guys here, man. I mean,
how long did they wear makeup? I'm sorry for interrupting. But
Kiss?
Crue? Motley Crue.
Well, they kind of would wear makeup on up, but the Shot at the Devil, they had the kind of Kiss influence makeup. And then Theater of Pain, they're the glam makeup where they look like girls and they're wearing the girls' outfits.
Right.
And then Kickstart My Heart, that
Dr. Feelgood.
Dr. Feelgood, they're not really wearing makeup on.
Right.
That,
and that's, I think that I'm telling you, I think that if I did a Motley Crue and if I went to, it'd have to be during that stage.
Well, I saw them on the first record. And I saw them on Shout at the Devil, and those were insane tours. Shout at the Devil, because you get Shout at the Devil on the first record. But a lot of guys here, of course, look, here's another guy. Should Rap Acts be in the Hall of Fame? This guy should LL Cool J be in. Why and why not? It's always comes down to rap. That's not rock. And like I said, there's rap that's way more rock. Public Enemy is fucking rock to me.
And you know
Fight the Power is a rock song.
Travis Barker.
Yeah.
He would come on Kimmel all the time with rap guys.
Yeah.
But he was from Blink 182,
Yeah.
but he would come on with those guys because he was such a respected drummer. That guy plays, man.
Yeah. There's drummers out there that are insane. Josh Freese, one of my favorite drummers, playing Devo, plays in like every band now on the planet.
Who's the guy from Queens of the Stone Age, the lead singer?
Josh Homme.
You like
Josh
him?
Homme. Oh, I love Josh Homme. He's my favorite.
Really?
I was getting into record of the year for me becomes either the Queen's record or Rival Sons. It's kind of a tie for me, which is, 2 great records.
Eagles of Death. What is that band?
Eagles of Death Metal.
Death Metal.
That's the one he played drums in.
And then he also in
Caius.
He was in the Dave Grohl
Yeah. Oh, that was great. With
John Paul Jones.
Yeah, that's Crooked Vultures.
Crooked Vultures.
Yeah. Great shit. That guy's a god to me. I think him and Jack White are the best musicians in the last 20 years.
Really?
Hands down.
Interesting.
Both those two guys. They can touch any genre. Jack White does the Raconteurs.
Right.
He does Dead Weather. He does White Stripes. He does a solo record. He does the what's her name? Loretta Lynn record. Whatever.
Did he really?
Yeah, whatever.
He also did the Alicia Keys for the
the guy's fucking
James Bond.
The guy's real. The guy's real, man.
Wow.
So there we go. What do you got coming up, bud? That was a great conversation today.
It was.
You're going to come back. I'm going to get my 10-week tour
Yeah,
together.
we got to put that together.
Who's your rock fantasy band?
My rock fantasy band. You see, that's a tough one for me.
I know, right?
And the reason it's tough for me is because to me, it's all about the singer.
You're just, who's your singer?
And that's the thing. I can't, if I say Paul McCartney, but I just like, there's just so, Paul McCartney has sang so many songs that are just so great.
And he sounds great now.
You know what's like, and if I may say this about what I'm loving is that you can get those, like, just the vocal versions of a lot of songs
that's
online.
good shit, acapella, yeah.
And I was listening to the Helter Skelter the other day.
Yeah, great.
Of him just what a rock and roll voice he has there.
Yeah, right? When I get to the top,
It just
so fucking badass.
But would he be...
But look at, you could have Paul as your bass player. Now you've got singing because he sings.
Right.
Then you can have, like, see, I went
like,
Springsteen.
Who would you go?
See, I went Springsteen was my singer, but then I had Geddy Lee as my bass player because I can have the voice too. This high voice.
Play by night.
Yeah.
Play from
Play by night. You're right. Yeah. Today's Tom Sawyer. But
and I'll tell you this. Do you remember Bob and Doug McKenzie?
No, who's that?
From SCTV.
Oh yeah. Okay.
They did the thing, the Great White North.
Yeah,
but they had
that?
Geddy Lee come on.
I forgot
as a
about
singer
that, man.
For the song
That's
Take
so
Off.
long a time ago.
Yeah, Take Off from.
Take Off, eh?
Yeah, because they had that. I was watching it the other night from the SCTV days.
Yeah.
Where he came on. He came on.
Yeah.
It was the singer for their show.
Take Off, eh?
Yeah. So who else do you have? You have Geddy Lee as your bass player.
Yeah, I got Springsteen as my singer. My guitar player is Jimmy Page. Because he can do like blues and rock and country.
I gotta tell you, Jimmy Page has never sounded the same to me.
Oh man, we might have to turn the recorder off, and you have to leave, motherfucker.
Oh, I'll tell you this:
you can't disrespect the Page.
Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. That's number one band for me, though.
Yeah.
You know that.
And I can honestly say that they're spectacular.
Yeah.
But I just didn't like him live.
Oh,
It seemed like he was all over the place.
I hear you. Sloppy and fun.
Fun, and it's probably more rock and roll than, You're
looking for some precision?
I just want to hear the songs the way that they were meant to be.
Right.
And I mean, sometimes you do something, like I can see Joe Walsh doing a little something with the Eagles.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yep.
But when it doesn't even sound like the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good, dude.
All right, so you got that. Your guitar player, who's your drummer?
Phil Rudd, AC/DC. Because he's just back there laying it down. Just to fucking, all you need is a groove guy back there.
All right, so I've got to think more about this.
Well, I'm going to have you back on.
Okay, and I'll come up with that.
We're going to put our tours together.
We'll have our 10-week fantasy rock and roll tour.
And meanwhile, everybody tweet at Don Barris. It's Simply Don.
I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
I might like to have gone on that Up in Smoke tour, too.
Oh, man.
Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, Eminem,
Oh, that'd have been good, huh?
Yeah. Snoop Dogg. I mean, you're getting, and there's a guy that was like at the comedy. Why can't I think of his name? He was the guy that was the MC of that tour.
Who was it?
Oh, God. Thomas something. I can't think of his freaking name.
I don't know, but look, let's have you come back. But let's have people tweet at us their tours. Yours is at Simply Don Barris.
Simply Don 1 is my Twitter.
Okay.
If you want to get in touch with me on Facebook, which you might be able to send me a private thing, it's Don Barris. Barris. I think this is fun because I think it's like really a fun game. Anybody who's really into music, because you can pick any era. Yeah. And then you start, like I said, the Van Halen thing. When do I go see Van Halen?
Yeah.
And I would have always gone during the 1984 tour.
Terrible.
And you might be absolutely right. Yeah. But they had their whole catalog of greatness there.
They did, but Dave forgot to show up and sing.
Maybe one show he did, and that's the one that I want to pick.
Every show, look at all the people here tonight. All right, Mary Jane, say bye.
I want to play game too. You guys want to add my part of the game to your game?
Yeah.
Okay, who would you go see in concert?
Wrong. You have one standard size suitcase, and for all the 10 weeks and for all your fantasy players, you have to pack exactly what they're going to wear in the suitcase and plan that. Isn't that fun?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
Because I wear the same clothes the whole run.
Yeah,
that's part of the
But
fun
are you
of
talking
being on tour.
about? Are you talking about dressing the band or dressing ourselves?
Both. I just wanted to be part and play too.
You're off the tour. You're off the tour, Mary Jane.
You're
I'm
out of
sorry.
here. You and Kate
Sorry.
Hudson take a walk.
Take a walk.
Band records.
What did Kate Hudson have anything to do with it? I don't
Almost
think I
Famous.
like her.
Movie Almost Famous.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I love you guys. Thanks for coming over.
All right, thank you, Dean Del Rey.
yeah, and there he
I'll
is
see you
right
at the
there,
Comedy
Don
Store.
Barris,
Come by
Mary
the Comedy
Jane.
Store, see us. If you're at Jimmy Kimmel, say hi to me. I'm at the Comedy Store every night. And And I would like to push the big3podcast.com.
Please do it.
I'm also we've got our Ding Dong Show on Death Squad every Monday night. We tape that 10 o'clock at the
And it's
Comedy
free to
Store.
get in.
Free to get in, and it's
If you're visiting LA, come down
Hell
see
yeah.
Don free at the Belly Room.
And
Mary Jane.
also my new Simply Down the podcast that I want to have you on.
Yeah, I'm going to be on that.
Yeah, very soon,
It's
within
going to
maybe
be
the
great.
next week or so.
What are we going to talk about? Drugs?
We're going to change it. We're going to talk about we get to pack one suitcase and we go on this tour for 10 weeks. Okay, thanks, Dean.
Hey, Happy New Year's, Del Raisers. Love you guys.
Yeah, Happy New Year's, Del Raisers.
Yeah, Del